Again, welcome to the first press conference of our regional today. First, we have Oregon State Beavers, the number 3 seed at a record of 26-4, regular season Pac-12 champions. Second straight tournament trip to the NCAA tournament, and a program record 26 wins. We will open with an opening comment from head coach Scott Rueck in his 5th season at Oregon State and the 2015 Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome everybody to Corvallis. It's exciting for all of us to be here and be home. Really proud of what this team has accomplished this year. 3 outstanding programs joining us this weekend, and we're excited about the challenges ahead, and I love where our team's at right now.
All right, thank you, Coach. First, we'll go to questions for our 3 student athletes. And for Oregon State, those student athletes are Gibson, Sydney Wiese, and Ruth Hamblin. Please, again, raise your hand before every question and announce your name and media affiliation before asking your question.
Gina, myself from the Oregonian. For all 3 of you, how does this NCAA tournament experience feel different than last year, since you've now kind of gone through this before?
Okay. I think this NCAA tournament, like at the beginning of the season, we kind of expected it, more so than last year. It was kind of a shock, and so I think we're a little more prepared coming into it, and we know what we want to do, and that everyone's after us being, a top seed this time, so it's a little different that way than being more of like an underdog last year.
Yeah, I think we're still having fun with it, but we're working so much harder, and our focus is a lot clearer. We know what we want to get out of this tournament this time, and not taking away anything from last year. I know that last year we still wanted to get deep into the tournament, make a big run, but I think it's more familiar to us, and so we're taking the right steps in the right direction, and we're preparing a lot harder and pushing each other, and we're having a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, no, I just think we've been preparing for this all season, so it's cool to finally be here. And whereas last year was a bit of a surprise, but I think we've been mentally and physically preparing for this all year, so it's good.
Steve Dress from the Corvallis Gazette-Times. Ruth, how different is it too that you guys are here at home playing? Rather, last year you guys went on the road and did that. Has it been a different feel, and maybe seem a little strange that you haven't left to go someplace to play in the NCAA tournament?
It's definitely a little different, but at the same time it has this very official feel, like there's all these rules and stuff we can't do, so that's kind of interesting. So it makes it feel like it's a away game, even though we're very comfortable and we're at home, so it's cool.
Gary Morrows with the Statesman Journal. Winning the Pac-12 championship, the grind of all that, 16-2, such a great record, but then losing in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament, does that take away any of the momentum that you've built from the entire season, or is that just sort of a long time ago and not really relevant now?
I think that we responded well to that. Once we got back to practice, we didn't necessarily forget about it, but I think it fueled us, and we competed so hard last week, and it was an intense practice. And, going into this week, too, preparing for South Dakota State, I think our mindset is just renewed and rejuvenated going into the last part of the season.
In the back.
David Brown from Midco Sports in South Dakota, sort of along the lines of the same question 2 questions ago. Does playing at home make you feel more comfortable because it's the NCAA tournament, or maybe amp up the pressure? And that's for all 3 of you.
I think it does a bit of both. Sorry, Allie. Obviously, playing at home, it's cool to be able to put on a bit of a show for our fan base, but it doesn't really give us any advantage on the court because everyone's coming to prepare. They've been working hard all season, so they're not going to come in intimidated, and we know that.
Now we open up the questions for head coach Scott Rueck. In the back.
Mark Overman from KDO in Sioux Falls. Scott, it sounds like you've sort of been on both sides of being the underdog and now being the favorite team. How do you approach playing a team like South Dakota State, knowing that they've got nothing to lose?
Yeah, well, we've been facing that a bit, this year. That's been new for our program. We've been the underdog for 4 straight years, and we saw a shift in that a year ago, towards the end when we got on that run, headed to the tournament. But this year we've been the favorite all year, and we've been in that scenario more than we haven't, this year. And so we just got to play possession by possession. We look at this team, we know that they expect to win. I mean, that's what they've done. They've won, 6 out of the last 7 conference titles and tournaments, and they're used to this. And so I don't care about that stuff, and I don't think our team does either. We respect our opponent, and we know we have to play our best and win tomorrow.
David Brown from Midco Sports in South Dakota. With Ruth being 6'6" and no one on South Dakota State above 6-2. Do you sort of game plan to try and take advantage and go inside early?
Well, it depends what they're doing. They're going to have a say in what we get to do. And so we've had a size advantage there all year. There's not many Ruths around, and so that's just, excuse me, that's just a big part of our game plan every night. And so certainly we look at Ruth a lot. She's a centerpiece of our offensive attack. But that's what makes us good, and it's what makes South Dakota State good too. They can score inside and out. And so, we've got to be hitting on all cylinders. We know that.
Coach Matt Peterson, KSFY in South Dakota. You guys obviously battled all year, put off this great regular season to be able to host in the first round of the tournament. Was that a goal at the beginning of the year? And how much of an advantage is waking up in your own bed while these other teams are traveling thousands of miles in?
Yeah, certainly was a goal. I mean, that's something that this team knew about. They knew of the rule change early. Word got out. And it started spreading, and certainly at the beginning, Lord knows, what's going to go on during your year. To be one of the top 16 seeds in the tournament, everybody hopes for that. And maybe there's only 3 or 4 teams that knew they'd be there. We had so far to go. So it was something we talked about, certainly a goal and a dream, to be able to host a tournament in your gym. But it was something that I think they've been fighting for. As far as an advantage, I think it goes both ways. There's goods and bads to both things. I love that we get to share it with our fans. It's an incredible experience to be in the tournament, to have it here in front of them. We love that. We play for these people, and so as far as an advantage, just like Ruth said, nobody's coming in here intimidated. If they're intimidated, it's because of something we did on the floor, and so we understand that we just got to go out and play our best and tune out everything else.
Same question that I had to the 3 of them. Just how does this year feel different walking into this tournament after going through it last year, since pretty much everyone's now experienced this?
Yeah, well, year 2, and hopefully the first of many, and this team is hungry. They've been waiting for this. That's something to manage in itself, however. And so this is something that they've expected, like they said. We as coaches, this is what we expected too. We hope to be here, and we thought if this team does what it could, we will be here, and not necessarily here, but in the tournament. And so it is an expectation within this team. I don't think they're taking it for granted. I've asked questions. I've just made sure, that they understand, what this is. You look back at that Colorado game, I think it was a perfect lead into this. I think it was only positive. It was an eye-opener for sure. It was disappointing for sure. And an eye-opener, I just mean it refocuses you, and it's like, okay, let's get back to basics. You look at that game, and as well as the Colorado played, it wasn't our best game. It wasn't a great defensive performance by us. No question. And so that's who we are, So it's refocused this team. We've had 2 great weeks of practice, and so I think this team is hungry, and I think the experience from a year ago just added to that, gave them clarity in what they need and want to accomplish.
Drew Carroll from the SJSU Collegian in Brookings. What challenges or what aspects of SJSU's game pose a threat to your team? Who pose the biggest threats?
Yeah, well, I love the way they rebound. I love the way. They are so disciplined in attacking the glass. That is an area where we're going to have to be really good. This needs to be one of our best rebounding games of the year. And we're both good rebounding teams, but our guards need to do a great job boxing out. I like the fact that they're inside out. I like the fact that they shoot the perimeter from so many different positions, and so they are a tough cover. They execute so well offensively, and so you relax for 1 second, they take advantage of it, and from a coaching standpoint, I love watching it. They do a great job, and so this needs to be a great defensive performance from us. Still, even if you defend them well, they have players that can hit shots, On the other end, I love the way they help. This is a team that swarms to the ball. They're all in. You could see that. And so they've got such a strong spirit, And so we know it's going to be a 40-minute game. And, we're going to get everything they've got. That's just proven every film you watch. That never changes with this team. So I like everything I've seen about them, and I respect everything. And we got our hands full.
David around Midco Sports, going back to Ruth for a bit, you mentioned her on the offensive end. From a defensive standpoint, 23 blocks in the last 4 games. So going against a team that you claim can go inside and outside, where are you going to put Ruth from a defensive philosophy standpoint?
Well, let's talk X's and O's. I'll give you the game plan just a sec. No, we'll put her out there somewhere, you know, and so I think we need to move her around and we need to be wise on who she's covering, you know, and we need to put her in a position to be successful, you know, and so certainly, you know, if we could just plant her under the basket and let her block shots all game, that'd be great, you know, but they are too versatile. They move people around themselves, and so that's where the chess match comes in, you know, and so Ruth is probably, you know, the piece in the game that is going to determine a lot of things on both sides, you know, how they attack us and how we choose to use her, and so it'll be fun to watch.
Any other questions for Coach? Yep, again.
From an experience standpoint, 4 of their 5 starters are upperclassmen. For South Dakota State, the majority of their starting lineup is underclassmen. Can experience be a factor in this, or, as you said, since they've made 6 of the last 7 NCAAs, does that matter?
You're talking to a guy that had a lot of success coaching freshmen and had a team that won a championship one time with 2 true freshmen in the starting lineup at the D3 level. Nobody's a freshman this time of year, you know, and so if you look at those 2 freshmen, they are the 2 most efficient players on your guys' team, you know, and so they're very good basketball players. They're very smart. They get the game. They don't make mistakes. They've played big in big moments, and they've already been in big moments, you know, and they rose to the challenge. And so I don't see freshmen, and I don't necessarily see an advantage for us, you know, or them. I just think it's 2 teams that are at a point in their season where, you know, you got to play your best, and I think they're both poised and ready to do that.
Any further questions for Coach? All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Again, Oregon State will face South Dakota State at 2 p.m. on Friday. Our next press conference will be at 12:30 p.m. with number 14 seed South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Thank you.
Thanks.